Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever it is, wherever you may be. And welcome to the Wednesday AP Studios live stream. Yes, I ought to have the microphone down here where you can probably hear me. All right. So I don't know how many of you watched the show last night, Vahography Talk. He had Joe McNally on. It was a great talk, great discussion, and just a great opportunity to sit down with a real legend in photography, photojournalism. All right, Charles, we'll see Chad here in a minute. Hey, Ray, how you doing? Ted, you doing good? Hope you guys were able to join the chat last night over on. Oh, wait a minute. I have no idea what this is. All right, so I hope you guys had a chance to join the show last night. It was a great discussion with Joe McNally. He's a very humble guy. It was great chatting with him. I know that Vahography was, things were so rushed. Joe only had so much time. And I know that Vahagan wanted to get to a lot of the questions in the chat, and we just couldn't do it based on a previous discussion with Joe about his time. So that's something that I know that he was really wanting to do, and I'm sorry we didn't get to all the questions or very many at all. Hang on a minute. The man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Rock and Roll. How you doing, Vahagan?
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yep, hear you just fine.
How's that?
Go ahead.
Is my mic on?
Yeah, I hear your mic. Ray says no sound. Wait a minute. Should be good. Should be good. View meter says it's good, but that doesn't mean anything. Yep, we should be good on sound.
Testing 1, 2.
I hear you fine. I'm hoping everybody else does. Gotta love live. You just gotta love it.
Let's see if is this. I'm gonna tap on the mic.
I can hear you, Vaughan, and I guess Jeffrey can too. He just said hello. Yeah, he says we hear you. So maybe it was just on Ray's end. He couldn't hear. Okay, sound is good, Ted says. So thank you, Ted.
Can you hear the tapping?
Yeah, it's not very loud. No, I can't hear it.
Wait. Let's see. Where's your set? Oh, here we go. Oh, yeah.
Check.
There you go. There's your. I didn't know which mic you were on. That sounds much better.
Awesome. Well, good morning, Chuck. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Thanks, Ray. Glad to know it's working on your end as well. So yeah, Vahagan had his Vahography talk last night with Joe McNally, The Real Deal. That's his new book that's out, and we can talk about that more as we get going here. But I was just saying, Vahagan, that you weren't extremely happy that you couldn't get to all the questions last night in the chat, but explained that was just based on Joe's timeline, and he just didn't have a lot of time to talk. So
yeah, there's so much we can get in. We want to get in as much as we can. I knew Joe's time frame, so I was just pacing it in a way where we can get our questions in and the viewers' questions in at the same time. So I did my best and to balance it out.
No, I think you did fine. It was just, I just wanted everybody to know it wasn't intentional.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a great time. Joe's a great guy. I grew up, just admiring his work and his professionalism. So it was something to look forward to for me. It was just, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed myself.
I did too. I mean, to get to talk to somebody that I've, like you said, followed for so long, all the way back to when I picked photography up again, 12, 14 years ago. I don't know now. It's all a blur. But following him and his, especially with his speed lights, his lighting, and everything else. And I know he doesn't like that title, but he is kind of seen, or at least in the Nikon camp, as the king of lighting, and especially with his speed lights. He's done some magnificent things. But in the book, it's just remarkable, folks. If you pick up that book, I'll almost guarantee that you're going to enjoy it, because it's a story, and it has a lot of great photography tips in it as well. Which, of course, we can talk about a few here. I don't want to give his book away here, on air. I'm sure he'd like to get a copy in everybody's hands, but I'll say now that it's one of those books that it's not you can't put it down, but you're going to go back to it real soon. You read some and take a break, and you're going to be chomping at the bit to get back and see what comes next. So he's very open in his book about how his photojournalism career started, and how it panned out over the years. And it's been up and down. And I guess that's just photojournalism. And he's very open about, the pitfalls and everything else, and the opportunities he had, the opportunities missed, and everything else. So it's a very good read. And anybody that's thinking about photojournalism, you definitely want to pick that book up and see where it was in the late 70s and what it's progressed to all the way up into the 2020s. Well, I just can't say enough about it. I really enjoyed it. So any questions you guys have, love to entertain. And Jeffrey says he had a huge impact on creative lighting system with Nikon, one of the Nikon's best ambassadors. Yes, absolutely. Because that's one of the things about Joe is he embraced a lot of the technology that came in. You heard him talk about that last night. He, if it was good, it was good. And he grabbed hold of it and tried to improve it with the manufacturers and of the, especially at Nikon, and used it in his work, and it paid big dividends down the road. Obviously, we're talking about his ability to light the subject or light the scene, and really good book. He has also his sketching light, where he actually goes through his sketching diagrams for a lot of the shoots. A lot of the photos that you've seen from him, he has in the book with the backstory on his sketching, how he lit it and how he changed it and everything else. So another good read if you're really wanting to learn more about lighting, creative lighting. So
yeah, hey Chuck, is it just me or you have music playing?
Yeah, there's background. I'm sorry, I cut that off.
Oh no, you I just want to know if it was my on my end.
No.
Maybe I have some music.
No, it was background music. Restream has some background music that you can play. Let's see.
Yeah, we know it was fun. And yeah, I just wish I could have had more time, but an hour and 23-minute show last night, and we went 23 minutes more than we had. So
yeah, he was willing to hang on there for a few more minutes, wasn't he?
Yeah, it's part of the challenge in doing these shows. We just don't know. We have so many questions, and which ones to ask, and you want to hear all the answers, and then at the same time, you love hearing all the answers. At the same time, you want to move on to the next question so you don't run out of time.
Yeah, it is. It's and you never know when you're live like that. You just can't cut, edit, and everything else. You get what you get, and a like you said, Vahagen, um, he doesn't know what's coming either. So you really have to play a game in live streams like that, and especially when you know that you have a time limit. You don't want to cut the guest off and say, "Well, let's move on." So you want to let them get their thought out, and for however long it takes. But that may, of course, interrupt your schedule or what you had planned to do. So I don't know what I'm saying here. I'm just babbling because I'm trying to read the comments as always, and just throw this out there. Gustavo, thank you very much. It was a lot of fun with him, and I wish it was a round table where we're all sitting around and Joe's there, so everybody could ask questions and talk to him about different aspects of his book and of his life, and lighting and everything else. You just can't do that.
Yeah, it's you want to sit there and you want to allow, you want to dive deeper into the topic, and it's just you got to take a turn sometimes, and I know sometimes it sounds awkward to like change I don't want to say change the subject, but I kind of have to, but I would love to just sit there and talk about his photojournalism days in the 70s. You can talk for hours about that. I want to ask him about, how life was, how he was treated, stories in New York in the 70s. I know New York was crazy back then. And I wish I could have just sit there and just ask him about that. But, we had to move on. We had a lot of topics, Z9, which we got to. His favorite lenses. I was surprised. The 2814. I heard the 2814 is probably Nikon's sharpest lens ever produced, or one of the sharpest lenses. And he's not the only one that has told me that. Somebody else, Patrick said that the 2814 is a really amazing lens, and hence the price.
Yeah. Well, he's got story after story after story, and a lot of people have heard a lot of the stories, but believe it or not, I think he could talk for an entire day and never repeat a story. That's just how much he's done over the years. And just like you said, Vahagen, going back to the late 70s, the photojournalism business, or being a photojournalist, was a whole lot different than it is today. A lot of it has to do with technology. A lot of it has to do with technology taking away a lot of photojournalists' jobs. And you heard him talk about that. There almost are no staffers anymore at any of the major publications. You take away magazines or print, and that really hurt the business. Yes, there are digital photos out there that all the sites want, but they've gone to more of a freelance format for their gathering their news and print and everything for their sites. And all that's changed photojournalism over the years. It's anybody that wants to get into it today, man, it's got to be a rough job to get into. One of the things I tried to hit on last night, he started college as a writer and found photography and fell in love with it. And that lended well to photojournalism. And he talks about that in his book. You want to be a photojournalist, guess what? You got to be a pretty good writer too. So, I think that's what made him who he is. He's a great storyteller and did well early on as a photojournalist, writing captions for his photos and everything else. But it's more than that. He goes into the business of photojournalism as far as, getting the prints to the editor, talking about editors, and editors were rough back then. They may still be today, but they were rough, and they let you know right up front. You either made the assignment or you didn't. And so Joe talks about some of the times when he just didn't get what they envisioned or what they wanted. And I think that's great when you read that and you realize, man, this guy's human. He's not superhuman. He's human. He's like every one of us. And I think the points that he brings up in the book can help all of us because, he's been there, he's done that, and he talks about not just the successes, but the failures.
Yeah, exactly. What stood out to me was how the business is not that lucrative as it might seem.
Right.
That stood out to me, where he was talking about, okay, for example, you have $400 a day, you get paid $500 a day or whatever it is. And to me, I mean, with all the work that you have to do and get out there, be in the scene, and it's a lot of work. You lug around equipment, actually shoot the stuff, your nerves, your all this stuff that you go through, and you only make $400, and that's before taxes.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute, I charge more for what I do, and it's like, yeah, I mean, of course you don't get, your name on the lights and things like that, but as far as being lucrative and making, a good living off that, I was kind of taken back by what they actually pay someone like Joe McNally, someone with that level of talent and stature in as far as being a photographer. Yeah, I was kind of shocked because I'm not in the business of photojournalism or magazines. I haven't done that at all, and so yeah, that was surprising.
Yeah, it is, and it just goes to show you, how much is behind the scenes that you don't know. Hey, thanks. Everybody's talking about quite a few comments here about the show last night, and it seems that everybody that was there enjoyed it. Thanks, Ted. Yeah, I read it from cover to cover, his book, and I just got so much out of it. Yeah, we could talk again today on the live stream here for hours about what's in the book. But I think it's best if you have the book and you can look at the photos that he's talking about and things like that. It's just a fantastic read. And Jeffrey wants to know how did you manage to coerce him to come on? I don't know that you coerced him, did you?
No. I just basically, I send these guys an email, say, hey guys, I have a channel. This is what I do. Send them a couple of links. Check out.
Got a caller.
And yeah, just either they come on or they don't. So
hang on.
Be as nice as you can. Be as nice as you can, and just try to relate.
Call right back, bud. Hang on a second.
Okay.
See, I'm a big fan, but I don't.
You there?
Yeah.
I don't really. I don't come off as a fan when it's just
connect here.
Try not to be a fanboy when we talk to your idols. You know what I mean? But just show them samples of other past talks. I think Jerry Guionis was a selling point, Paul.
All right.
Because he's Jerry's friend. So.
Can you hear me okay?
Just a second.
Oh, Jeffrey asked that question. Okay, Jeffrey. Yeah, so. Exactly.
All right.
Thank you, Todd.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, good morning, Vahagan. I think it must be morning for you out there. Good afternoon, Chuck.
Good morning, Vitaly. Good morning.
Happy
How
to
are
catch
you?
you guys during my break time. Yeah, just, I want to give you a call and lift you, both of you guys, for just doing such a great job of, bringing talented photographers to your shows. And, because I know a lot of us who are watching your shows and, wondering what is it like on their side of the fence, you bringing some of this to light. And especially, I happened to catch yesterday's show with John McNally, and just interesting to see the life and the story, and how everybody has a different talent. But in his case, obviously, he's a photojournalist, and he is sounds like he's a writer and a photographer, and which makes to be a great storyteller.
Absolutely.
Right? So it's a combination of different skills and talents that the person has. And but I think the purpose of my call right now is just to lift both of you guys up, you Chuck and you Vahagan, for just making it happen, and you guys initiating this on your own. And it's nice to see and hear, learn from experience, almost like being there with them at the round table, listening. And so thanks for making it happen for all of the guys.
Well, that was all Vahagan. He did all that. I just got to participate, and I appreciate him letting me, peek in and have a conversation.
Thank you, Vitaly. Thank you for watching and listening. We appreciate it, and this is why we do this. This is why I do this. Is for you guys, because, and for me too. But I want insight on the world of that, that aspect, because we haven't lived that life. We want to see how it's like, but I appreciate, Vitaly, for you guys, you listening in and getting something out of it, because this is what we do,
No, thanks to you guys. Well, I'll let you go continue your conversation. Thank you.
Thanks for the call, Vitaly. Hope you have a great day.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Oh, he's got to go. Okay. I was going to ask him, as being a wedding photographer, I'm sure he'll be tuning in next Tuesday.
Yep. Hello. Hey, hang on, Paul. All right, try it. There we go.
How are you?
Good. You got a sound on in the background there?
Yeah, hold on. Let me take the sound down. How are you? Okay, is that better?
Yeah, it sounds like it's gone now.
Hi, Paul. Good morning.
Okay. Hey, Vahagan, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Listen, I had a lot of experience with Joe McNally. Worked with him. He worked with the Air Force a lot, so I got to work with him there. And he worked with Combat Camera. One of the things that he talked about in one of the civilian classes I took from him at his former studio at Dobbs Ferry, New York, was he did the first ever digital photography for National Geographic on the 100th anniversary of Powered Flight. And he told us the story about what actually got him to convert to digital. He was a Kodachrome film shooter prior to that, when he did all of his magazine work and National Geographic work. And he talked about one assignment he had where he was out at Nellis Air Force Base in Nevada. He had to hand carry the stuff back to National Geographic headquarters in the exposed rolls of Kodachrome back to National Geographic headquarters in New York. In DC. And he literally barely made a deadline on the last assignment he did with film. So he said, at that one class, I was dragged kicking and screaming into the digital age because I was such a fan of Kodachrome. And, he's really got this really kind of perverse sense of humor sometimes. And the way he describes the antics and the things that happened to him were such that, you couldn't help but laugh, and you couldn't help but think, hey, I've gone through some really bad stuff. I said, but he makes it all sound almost laughable.
Yeah. And
you have to turn around and look at some of the impediments that you have to your own photography, and think that, well, here's this master who's world renowned, and he's had many of the same problems we've had. He's had many of the same frustrations we've had. He's had many of the same limitations and time constraints that we all have. And, when I worked with him in the Air Force, he taught us stuff that they never taught in any of the military photography courses that we took. So there were any number of military photographers from any of the services. They'd sit there with their mouths agape because they were learning stuff that they never learned in the schoolhouse.
Yeah.
And, I actually never went to a military photography course. I fell into it. So I didn't even have the schoolhouse training. So the only training I had was what I picked up on my own. And, I became a combat photographer that way, because everywhere I went, I took a camera.
Yeah,
And
Paul, I keep calling him a photojournalist, which he is, but he's a generalist also, and he's one of the few that can shoot anything. And I think that's what really makes him amazing and that lends to him being able to share all these tips and things to somebody like the class or when he was speaking to the combat camera crews there. That's what makes him fantastic. I don't know that he sees himself that way.
I don't know. He's although he's funny, he's very modest about it.
He is.
I would encourage anybody who's on this stream today, if you have a chance to take a class with him. His classes are exceptionally well organized. He's got obviously all the imagery that he can demonstrate and talk about what he did. And he stands there in front of you very modestly, but on some of the more complex shots, like the shots that you see on the Nikon website and other things, I don't have the skills to do that, but to set up the lighting, I'm not there yet, right? Mm-hmm. Not only that, I don't have the equipment that he has available to him.
Right.
One of the things that makes his life a lot easier is his second wife works for Nikon, or at least she used to, and he used to get a lot of equipment either on loan or almost gratis. So, but when he sets up a class, whether it's one he runs at a venue or like when he did the classes at Unique Photo in Fairfield, New Jersey, I mean, those classes are always packed. They're packed to the gills.
Yeah.
People know who he is. They want to take classes with him. I've met people at those classes. I've seen at other classes, so there's like almost like an alumni society of people who have taken classes from him. And he's just an all around exceptional teacher as well as photographer. And for all of you listening to my voice right now, if you have a chance to take a class with McNally and Jerry Dionis, by the way, do so. And it's going to be worth whatever money you have to pay to take that class.
He has something coming up here. I think it's next week or the week after. I'll have to look that up and let everybody know. He's got some classes coming up down in New York City. So for those that might be interested, I'll see if I can dig that up. I was actually interested in it, but I'm not going to be able to attend it. And along with the classes, Paul, and thanks for, adding all that. His books, if you don't have any of his books, check them out, go to Amazon and look at the, primer for all of his books. I think you'll be amazed at what you see in just the primer and realize that this guy is a teacher. He's a natural teacher, and he's passing on everything that he's learned. And in a way, just like you said, Paul, he has a fantastic sense of humor. I mean, he can take, just like you said, one of the worst situations and turn it into a story that's, almost pleasing.
Well, photographers are storytellers, and in his case, he has the unique talent of being able to tell stories through his imagery, but also verbally and orally.
Yes.
He's actually, here's one way I look at him, having met him so many times, is that he is an oral historian as well as a photographic historian.
Yes.
He told everybody on your stream yesterday, Vahagan, that what it was like back in the 70s when he was fresh out of Syracuse University. And, I remember I grew up in those years. I graduated from college in 1976 and went right into the Army. And I remember those years. They were tough. The economy wasn't in the best of shape. The world was changing dramatically. Saigon had fallen on April 30th, 1975. We were 15 years away from the fall of the Soviet Union and communism. I mean, everything was changing. I got my start in photography black and white. Joe McNally had some of his most iconic images were black and white images. I remember seeing his stuff in Look magazine in the 70s. Yeah. And I was stunned even then as a young person. And this guy God gave him a lot of talent, and to his credit, he's used it very effectively over the last 50 years.
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yet he's a very humble man. I mean, he's done it all.
Yeah, he's a humble guy. I mean, he's a funny guy, but he's a humble guy. He doesn't take credit where credit's not due. But again, and I'll jump off here, but any of the folks on this stream today, if you ever get a chance, I don't care what it costs, pay to take a class with him. And I'll sign off. Thank you guys for everything you do. And a pleasure to be with you again.
All right. Thanks for the call, Paul.
Thank you. Paul.
Take care, guys. By the way, Chuck, all the way.
Hey, thanks, man. All the way and then some, right?
Yep, and then some.
All right, buddy.
So, yeah, Paul makes some good, interesting points. If you're a young photographer and you haven't read his books, or you haven't been to one of his classes or seen his work, you can go ahead and just go to YouTube and type, Joe McNally, and all the videos will pop up with interviews and, behind the scenes, photo shoots. You can learn a lot just from that resource there. I mean, young photographers. I mean, the guy is just, that's why I call him the giant in photography, because he's just, he's well known. But at the same time, with the younger generation, I'm talking, the new generation photographer, Instagram, hipster, they might not know who he is, but it's a shame, because they should really take time and study the greats from yesteryear, because it's not all about adding filters to your photos on Instagram or getting likes, or there's more to that in photography than just being popular, and the whole thing going on right now with the the new generation. They should really take their time and learn from the greats.
Yeah,
And
you're right. And they don't realize that they're probably using techniques that he kind of pioneered, especially since he was there early on in the new lighting, era. Although there was lights, back then and earlier than that, he's pioneered a lot of the lighting techniques today. So I wanted to dovetail on Paul, your call, and you're talking about his education. So there's an interesting story in the book about his master's degree. And I'd encourage everybody again that it's a funny read, short, but he talks about acquiring his master's degree and what he had to do it. And only a way that, Joe McNally can explain it is it's just funny. So that's something else to look forward to in the book if you pick it up. And Vahagan, let me grab a couple of the comments. First of all, Jaspreet, welcome. Sorry, didn't say that earlier. Gustavo, glad you're in here. Let's see. Todd, Mike, hey, thanks for the compliment on the shot for the Nikon Amateurs group today. So it sounds like everybody did enjoy this interview last night. And again, hats off to Vahagan for making that happen. And congratulations, Vahagan, for getting the Midnight Radio Voice Award from Joe McNally last night. I thought that was great.
Yeah, that was a compliment. I enjoyed that. And
absolutely. Mike, great comment there. Tech has really cost a lot of jobs, and it's evident in just about everything, because here we are talking about it within photography and photojournalism. Who else? Thanks again, Mike, for the photo, or compliments on the photo. Albert, good to see you in here. Story last night, Gustavo says, and I'll throw it up here, and then I got to put the phone number back up. About the giant Polaroid was amazing. Yeah. And see, that's something else that came out. And that's why I asked him that specific question. Did he pitch that? Because in the book, he talks about that, how to sell yourself. He has all you've seen his photos and some of the things he did. You saw the aliens in the diner. I mean, that's just Joe. These things are bouncing around in his head. He talks about, and, every now and then he finds a way to release them in his work. So he pitched that to Time Warner and wound up with the project, the 9/11, Faces of 9/11. So,
Ched brings up an interesting point. Ched Davis, with me, when I'm interviewing these talks, I miss a lot of these tidbits. I rewatch it, and when you're doing that, you miss a lot. And I went back last night and I rewatched it, and it's vital because it's just wow. You appreciate it more, and that's why I upload it to my podcast, audio stream only, so anybody that's driving to work can listen to it. And I do that right away after the show is done. So, Chad, you bring up an interesting point there.
So, hey, thanks for passing that on, Jeffrey. Classes on Kelby Training, Creative Live as well. And I used to watch Creative Live a lot. I haven't for a long time. If you haven't been there, you can check that out. If they have something new going, you can watch it free the first run. I guess it's still that way. After that, you would have to buy the class from Creative Live. But they have a lot of great people on there. Often it's really good to sit down and watch some of them. So at 3:15, new video coming out, telling stories with light. Well, there you have it. I mean, that's Joe. He may deny this, but he's one of the kings of light. Let's see.
Like about him, he's like, if you don't know him, you wouldn't even think that he's this photography genius.
No. If you just met him somewhere without a camera in his hand, you wouldn't know he's a photographer.
Yeah, no pun intended, but he just looks like an average Joe. You know what I mean? At a local coffee shop or whatnot. But he's just, oh man. If I had a chance to apprentice for him for like a couple weeks, I would love that. Like I would learn so much.
Funny story. 10 years ago, maybe. No, it was longer than that. So I don't know how long I've been shooting again. But while I was traveling back and forth to Afghanistan and Iraq, at one point I thought, you know what? I know Joe lives near me. I might contact him and pay him. And at that time, I thought, I'll offer him $1,000. Just come to the house one day and spend the day here talking about stuff. I wish I had done that. I wish I had done that back then when I could. But that's how much I appreciate his work and, what he does and his ability to teach. Yeah. So, Joe, thanks, Paul, for that bit. Not getting rid of his D850 because he may actually need it at some point. That's great. D850 is a fantastic camera, as we all know, if you have it. Hello, Woody. Good to see you in here. Chad says
I'd totally carry his bags, man. Seriously.
Yeah.
I would totally carry his bags, hold the light for him.
Yep.
Set up everything and just watch him work, man. The guy is just, when he was doing that shoot for the Z9, with that fast, what was that? That car or that rocket car or whatever on the desert?
Yep.
With the flame shooting out.
Yep.
That was awesome. The way he was just orchestrating that and he's a real leader and he knows what he's doing, man. And I just want to be a fly on the wall, man.
Yeah, I agree with you. You don't know how many times I thought about being a stalker. He only lives about 15 miles away. I don't think he'd appreciate it, but I've thought that often about, how can I get in his good graces to be able to just go over and be a fly on the wall when some of the stuff is going on.
Yeah. If you're a new photographer, check out Joe McNally. That's all I got to say.
So, Jeffrey, I see in, quite a few posts here about Creative Live and everything else. Yeah. Creative Live I can recommend. I haven't been there for a while. I am a member over there, and they do have some great stuff. Although they've expanded and they do all kinds of other teaching forums and with different guests, I mean,
Paul. Come on, Paul.
Stock. That's great, Paul. That's great.
You're from Connecticut. Where are they from? They're from North Carolina?
Chelsea and no, they're here in they're here in Connecticut.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
What's up with Connecticut? All these
I don't
good
know. I'm in good
photographers.
company. I don't know that I rate that, but
Moz man. Thank you, brother.
great to see you, Moz man. Enjoyed your video. You guys out shooting. Yeah, they're up in Essex or
Yeah,
over
wish we could have
in
had better
Essex.
conditions, but the next time around will be much better, Moz.
Hey guys, I didn't mention this up front. I want to throw this out there to you. For those of you that don't know, and that maybe all of you know, B&H does something they call the Deal Zone every night, except for Friday night. And the way that works is Thursday night's Deal Zone goes all the way through to Saturday night. So it's 48 hours instead of 24 hours. If you go there, it starts at midnight, or they change the items at midnight. They usually have anywhere from 4 to 6 items that are on sale. And I check it every morning without fail because, well, one thing is if you're an impulse buyer, you might not want to check it out because even things you don't need, there's such a good deal on it. You feel like you have to buy it. I'm not plugging this for B&H. I'm just letting you guys know if you don't do it. Check it out, though. There are a lot of great deals that go by on the Deal Zone. Again, every night, midnight, it changes. The items change. Fantastic buys on a lot of most of it you may not be interested in. I think they just try to put up several different items or whatever, maybe to appeal to a larger crowd. But once in a while, actually quite often, they'll have something that I'm really interested in. And not that you're interested in director's chairs, but Filmcraft is a fantastic director's chair. And if you've thought about buying those, they have those on the Deal Zone today. And they're $129, which is considerably cheaper than their typical retail price. So, but check it out. You may find something you've been thinking about or wanting. And any night or any day they could have that deal going and you get a pretty good discount when it's in the Deal Zone. So there's my commercial bid today for B&H. Maybe they'll send me a gift card. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey Chuck,
B&H will never see this.
Hey Chuck, I might have to bow for a few minutes.
Yeah.
I'll let you know when someone's coming out. Someone's coming to buy my fisheye. So
Okay. All right.
But I'll let you know. I'll go and come back. But hey, Maz, definitely, man, definitely. Someone asked me, tell us more about your experience with the Z9 and the 600. Phew. Let me tell you, I need more time. It's just a great combination, but I think I'm not used to the focus modes yet. But amazing killer, powerful setup. So, having a good support system is key. So Gustavo.
All right, Chad. All right. So, yeah, great show last night. Again, hats off to Vahagan. Fantastic and being able to get in touch with him and have him on the show. I was honored just to be able to sit in there and listen and talk to him. Somebody I've wanted to talk to for a long time. Not that I was ever going to reach out to him, but very humble guy. Again, the book is fantastic. If you guys have a chance, go check it out. If you buy it, I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. Lots of stories in there. And again, lots of just great nuggets of information as a photographer. So definitely a good read. But I thank you again, Vahagan, for letting me join in on that. So there's one of my bucket list items checked off. I got to talk to the world-renowned Joe McNally. And
you're welcome, man. It was great with you, man. You guys had a lot of things in common, you and Joe. So it was
Yeah,
good just listening to you guys talk.
there's some similarities in things that when he was talking about, coming back after a long shoot trip, whatever. Maybe it was a 23-day job, working 24/7. I know all about that. And when you come home, the only thing you want to do is just chill out, vegetate. In his case, I think he would try to do that, but probably the next job is just around the corner. So I don't know that he got to kick back, but I think that's what he kind of explained to you is, what do you do when you get back? Well, nothing. I just want to take a break and be with the family. And I understand that too.
I understand. Yeah, you're right. Hey, Chet, thank you very much for that compliment, man. I just read that. Thank you. I haven't done anything yet, Chet. But after talking to Joe and reading his book, I think I'll be reinventing myself very, very soon. I'm so inspired now. I mean, there's so much more I can do. And yeah, I touched on talking about making more money as a wedding photographer, but I'd rather have better fun, better shoots with amazing sets and then just, I really don't care about making money at this point. I want to be out there. I want to gain experience and I'd rather have those notable photo shoots than chasing the paycheck. You know what I mean, Chad? But thanks for the compliment, man. Let's see. Mozman is getting a Z9. Well, Mozman, were you? I guess you were impressed with the camera, huh? The other day. Well, I'm sure you pre-ordered it way before that, but yeah, man, looking forward to you having that camera too. So.
The Real Deal is the title.
Is that a bird? Western grebe?
Yes, sir, it is. And I'm embarrassed. I post photos of birds and I know everybody's waiting or looking for the name of the bird or whatever. I never know it either. Okay. Yeah, Paul, it's on Amazon now. And it is recent. And Joe's reason I got a subscription to Kelby One. Learned a lot from his tutorials. Learned that a photo with a simple average lighting is better than a photo with no lighting or horrible lighting. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's what I was preaching the other day. Albert on here was talking about lighting. You'd be amazed. All the natural light photographers, again, and some are great at that, but I think a lot of people are just afraid of lighting. And of course, it does incur a little cost, but you can start with a speed light and use it correctly, and it changes your photography completely. I don't think a lot of people understand that. Jeffrey, yes, it's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's a bird. The Western grebe. I don't know the names of all the birds out there.
That's how much I know about birding, man. I know what
Yeah, you kind of embarrassed when you get on with Josh or Bayou Josh, and he's talking about all these birds, and I'm thinking that's just another one of them little birds to me. And I'm not making light of the fact that he knows all of them. It's fantastic. And if you're going to be a real photographer, wildlife photographer, you really need to know your subject. That's a part of being able to capture them. So
yeah. Hey guys, you remind me when you guys say how'd you get Joe on? You reminded me to ask you this. I really want to get the angry photographer on my show, and I really want to interview him. So if you guys can, one time get over to his recent video and just say, hey, go on Vahography Talk, man. We'd love to see you there. It'd be great. I emailed him a couple times, and so far he's not interested. But we could change his mind because I really want to sit down and talk to the angry photographer, Theoria. I want to invite him to the talk. So
That will be an interesting interview, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. But you know what? He's different when he's not on his channel. I've heard that from so many people. He's not the same person. So that might be, really interesting.
yeah, there's a lot I want to ask him. So, and not in a combative way. I'm just curious. That's all, because he too is a fixture in this community, and whether you like him or not, a lot of people know him. And
There are some respected people that like him or like his former, not self, but in the beginning, a lot of people will talk about they took his advice on lenses, old lenses, Nikon lenses, and they're extremely happy with, taking his advice and actually buying the lenses. So I think there's a lot of knowledge there. I don't know what's happened over the last couple of years, but I don't know. But he has knowledge. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, he does. He's a smart guy. He's a smart man. I mean, yeah, I disagree with a lot of what he says, but still, I would like to interview him.
Yeah, it would be interesting. Like I said, if you can make that happen, Vahagan, I guarantee you a lot of people would like to listen to it and just see, okay, what's behind the angry photographer?
How did he get that name?
I think everybody just started calling him that because of his, constant attitude. I mean,
he like being called that? Or
I think he kind of does now, maybe, because it is a handle that's very widely known in YouTube and camera circles. He gave it to himself. Okay.
Yeah.
He can light the inside of a sardine can.
Yeah. But no, that's interesting that you, Joe, the Northrops, you guys are on the same area.
Yeah. And I'm trying desperately to get out of the area, but it's not like we're all friends and we get together on the weekends and, grill bratwurst and tell photography stories.
Yeah.
So I did watch, you got Vanessa Joy coming up. And I think she's fantastic. She's so energetic, and no doubt there's a lot to learn from her as well. Even though she's a Canon shooter, get that, that's okay. But I watched the video you were talking about her shooting with Chelsea, and it was interesting.
Oh yeah, the challenge videos.
Yeah,
the gold camera challenge videos. Oh, those are cool. I might have frames on board too, Chuck.
All right, good.
So it'd be the four of us.
Great. I'm in talks with Frames, and hopefully we can firm this up, and maybe as soon as Saturday night. So, folks, we may have Frames T.O. in here Saturday night, and ask him to talk about his work. What he's doing now. His videos, he hasn't had as many videos. I think he's just been that busy with things going on, and ask him if he'd talk about his work and his, don't get angry. Don't become the angry viewer on me here, but talk about his A7 IV that he just purchased. He did a review and talked about the differences between his Z6 II and his or Z6 and his A7 IV. And it's interesting. He's very honest about it and talking about the differences between the two. So anyway, maybe Saturday night we'll have him on here to talk about it.
Yeah, looking forward to that. I have a job that Saturday night. It's a baptism, but baptism with the reception right after. But I'll for sure rewatch it, or I'll tap in at the reception hall. We'll see.
No, hey, life first. We were just talking
Yeah.
about that last night, right? Life first.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to next week. It should be fun with you and Frames and Vanessa, which should be a very dynamic chat with 4 different personalities.
Yes, yes.
4 different walks of life. I mean, you got Vanessa Joy. She's energetic. She's rocking. You got you, Chuck, and Frames, which is a whole different level with his style. And then myself, which I'll just be like just listening to you guys. You guys have at it and have fun. Yeah,
No.
she sent me a message on Instagram. She goes, "I'm in it." I don't know exactly how to word it, but she said, "I'm in for a good one, huh? With you guys, I heard you guys." She said something like that on my Instagram, and I'm like, "Yeah, it's gonna be rocking."
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe she knows that we're kind of Nikon centric here, but we're not
Yeah,
going to
she's
beat
like-
her up for, shooting Canon or anything like that. Shoot.
Yeah, she's like, "I heard I have it coming to me, and agreeing to talk to you." I'm like, something like that, and I'm like, "Hey, it's gonna be fun. Come on down." So
Yeah, Paul, that's why I'm trying to escape New York, the movie. But here it's really Escape Connecticut. Escape New England for a lot of reasons. Taxes being one of them. You just can't afford to retire up here. And 2, I'm sick of the weather. By the way, folks, it's snowing again today here. Oh, what a joy. Got to get out of here.
I love snow.
Well, you look where you live. Of course you do. Yeah, I
You got
imagine
blue
you
skies.
do. Come here and tell me that after a couple of years. Did you ever have to shovel snow off your roof?
No.
You ever hear of it?
Yes.
I had until I
Driveways and
got up
stuff.
here. Somebody said, you need to shovel your roof. I thought they were kidding.
Ask Mossman what the weather is today. It's beautiful. blue
No, I don't
skies.
want to know. It'll just depress me. Oh,
But
man.
let's see.
Yes,
Some
Bob,
slow
you
motion Yankee footage.
Josh did just get a 7.4. Well, he didn't. He didn't. His wife did, all by herself. I think that's going to be a great combo there. He and his wife. Josh is such a great guy. His wife has to be just a great wife or great woman too, if she wants to share in his passion for photography. So this is going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to the videos that he's going to produce.
Heading to Florida by year's end. Paul Connors.
I don't blame you, Paul. I don't blame you. The wife would like to go to Florida too, but no, I don't want to go to Florida. I like a little bit of seasons. I don't like, mainly winter and then, hey, there went summer. And that's what I get up here. Yeah, Paul, I know. Snowing here the other day, it was just absolutely beautiful out. Of course, I was busy and couldn't take the camera out and enjoy it. And then today, when I could, after the live stream, it's snowing again. Oh, man. So, go south, Chuck and Vaughn. Get out of your pajamas. I am, Hank. I'm going south. We're going to Tennessee. Somewhere vicinity Nashville, not in Nashville proper, but vicinity Nashville.
Let me know when you get situated, Chuck. Move, let some time pass. I want to pay you a visit there.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. I'm ready to come visit you today to get away from this weather. Yeah, I know, Mosman. I could do that. I may do that after we finish here. Just go out and set it up and get some 4K 120 footage of slow snow falling. Maybe a bird or two will enter the frame. Make it somewhat interesting.
So I have a question for you Z9 owners, Chuck.
Sir.
I noticed that there's no in-body slow-mo on the Z9. I guess is that a setting I need to adjust, or
I
is
haven't even
that
looked at that. Like on the Z6 and Z7, where you can just go slow mo.
yeah, it does a really good job slowing it down right in camera.
Yeah, and
when
somebody
you
had asked
transfer
about that a while back, saying why have both? One is because you get audio with the 4K 120.
yeah, I kind of like the way it slows it down in camera too.
Yeah, it looks great. I agree with
Because
you.
I would like to have both options. I wonder if we can set that up where,
Now
I
you
can
got me
do that.
wanting to go pick up the camera and look, but Jeffrey's in here.
Yeah,
I hate doing this to Jeffrey. He probably hates me because I always default to Jeffrey. Jeffrey, what's the answer to this question about the Z9? But Jeffrey, does it have the built-in slow-mo right in camera on the Z9? I hadn't even noticed. I just went directly to 4K 120.
because I like just looking at it in camera sometimes. Because if I'm doing slow-mo shot, if I'm doing a slow-mo shot, it's in a slow-mo shot.
Yeah, you're not looking for the audio with it anyway.
Yeah, but I would like to have that option of turning it on and off. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I guess that would be great for when you know everything that you're shooting will be slow mo. And on the flip side, with 4K 120, you can always ramp up or ramp down the speed for slow mo. So, but yeah, I agree with you. It makes it so much simpler if you just want to shoot slow mo, a whole clip, then just do it with that setting rather than having to do it in post.
Yeah.
That's what stumped me at first. And I imported it into Final Cut Pro and I'm looking at it and I thought, well, it's 120 frames a second, but it's not slow mo. Me again, Mr. Video here and Mr. Post Editor, video editor, not. And it kind of surprised me. And I had to actually go find some tutorials and try to figure out, now, how do I get this to 120 frames per second slow mo?
And you know what? Another benefit of that is when you have clients and you want to impress them right on location.
Right.
You turn the camera around and you show them a slow motion clip and the immediate reaction is, wow.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
awesome. And you impress them right on the spot. Because some of those slow motion beach running shots or holding hands in sunset, it looks really nice when you're doing that, when you're doing video, that is. But it's an impressive tool to use to get more jobs. So
yeah,
I'd love to have that on location. And the Z, like all the other cameras, I think the Canons do that. I'm not sure about 4K, but I know the 1080 you can. But that'd be nice.
I don't know if I haven't even looked, to be honest with you, Hagen, to see if it has the slow-mo setting in video.
I don't have any experience with the Atomos Ninja, Hank.
Yeah, I have the Ninja 5. I got it specifically for the Z series cameras before the Z9. Just being able to record 4K, which you couldn't do internal, so 4K 120 and whatnot.
And another question for Jeffrey: when you're doing 120 4K, it crops the sensor, right, a little bit? It's not full sensor readout, right? Or I could be wrong.
Let Jeffrey catch up on all the. Oh man. And he made a comment here talking about Florida, someone paying over $20K a year in homeowners insurance due to all the hurricanes, he assumes, and cost of building materials. Yeah.
Yeah, the thing with the Ninjas, man, is that you just have to lug in another accessory, plug it in. It's just another thing you need to set up when you're shooting. But yeah, if you're doing cinematic movies, yeah, you have a rig, so that's not a problem. But if you're running and gunning, doing like an engagement photo shoot or a wedding or something like that, it's just another accessory that you need to worry about, so yeah,
No.
the benefits are there with the Ninja, of course. But I'm actually looking for a good solution to record my EVF.
Yeah, that's what I was telling you the other day. Let me grab it here real quick. Shoot, if I wasn't lazy, I could demo it for just a second. This guy here, and there's a new version out.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see it or not. If it's going to, well, let me get my face out of it. It'll probably, there you go. Look at there. So this goes on the camera. It is the transmitter, and the receiver, I can't pull it up here. It's sitting over here. It's connected right now. The only thing I'd have to do is connect the power to the receiver, turn this on, plug it into the camera. I could do it. You know what? Let's do it for a second. Hang on just a second.
Yeah, there's so many things on the Z9 I haven't even tried yet. I haven't even tried 120 frames per second. I know Jared did a video on that, which was impressive with the baseball. That was a very impressive video. I haven't tried that yet. Just the picture profiles I haven't shot in N-Log yet. There's so much stuff to just go over. Focus speeds, if there's a difference using, for example, a 105.14 with the FTZ adapter on a Z9 versus using it on a Z6, is there a difference in focus speed? Focus, well, of course, focus tracking, but just focus speed and the performance.
I haven't abandoned everybody. Let's connect this thing real quick and
yeah, that's good for transmitting the EVF, right? So yes. What's the, do you know the, like, I want to ask the audience here what the cheapest solution is to record the EVF on location? Hey, Chuck, did you get a chance to see Matt Granger's recent video with the 1.2s?
Yes, I did.
I've never looked inside a R3 viewfinder before. And actually, I want to ask Vanessa Joy this next week. That AF tracking looks impressive.
Yep.
It's like smooth. The box is like, doesn't jitter around that much.
There you go.
So you're transmitting the EVF. That's cool.
Yep.
So what's that thing you got on top there? Is that what is that? Yeah, what is that?
I'm showing you that's the Z6 setup that I use for my stream here. And
you got a monitor on it.
The Ninja 5.
Ah, okay. Cool.
So here, I'll walk away. Let me go show you outside real quick what's going on.
So you're transmitting wirelessly. This is really cool. Wow, that's a good tool to have. Lower your ISO. Oh, wow. Look at that. This is a perfect photo shoot. Man, I'm jealous, Chuck. We're in California here. We'd love to be in that environment. Look at that. Look at that beauty there. Wow. That transmits pretty nicely. I wonder if he goes outside, how far he can get. Oh, it just cut out. He probably went outside.
Sorry, I walked into the kitchen looking out the back door. So there's the photo I just took. So, and we're back to live. So you see all the information from the screen. Plus, we can go into the menu and change whatever we want in the menu. Let's go to film real quick. Let's just see what we've got here.
That was a beautiful setting there for a photo shoot, Chuck.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. On the 30th, my stepdaughter's coming down and we're going to do a shoot live. So I'll have the Hollyland on here so you can see the settings in the camera, what's going on, exactly what I'm seeing. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, get them in the snow, throwing snow at each other. That'd be cool.
So we're going to do it in the studio. Plus, I'll have it tethered. I was fooling with that yesterday. So as soon as we take the photo, we can pull the photo right up on the screen, show you live right out of camera without all the settings and everything. So yeah, it's pretty neat. So
go to your video real quick. Go to your video settings.
Video settings.
Mm-hmm. Go to let's scroll down.
So this thing is fantastic for somebody that would just want to go through the menu and everything in a tutorial type thing.
So it doesn't give any option for ×4, ×5,
right?
Like the Z6,
right?
And that's a shame because I wonder if you can record 120 and slow it down while you're playing back.
I know if you shoot in movie format, QuickTime Viewer will give you that option when you're reviewing the video, but that's not in camera, of course. I don't think. Let me see.
And another thing I noticed, you can't record 4K anymore on 264. Right?
Well, 4K, you said.
Yeah, like if you set it on, if you set your,
well, yep.
If you go, you see that right there, set it on 264. Yeah. You can't record it. It doesn't give you 4K options. What is the Z6 264? It is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And it does a great job on doing 4K, but this one, when you set it at 26, set it to 264 real quick. Go down one.
Yep. Okay, so
now go. You see that?
Yep.
Now go down to the bottom there. Yeah, there you go. See?
Yes, sir.
So, not a deal breaker in my opinion, but have you ever shot video like a not on 265? Have you ever shot the higher resolution formats? The higher quality formats, like when you go to video file type in 10-bit. You see that? Have you ever shot in ProRes?
Yeah, I did that the other day. I wish I had it up here.
That thing takes a lot of memory, man. You need a big card for these things.
Yep. Well, ProRes, yes, more, but it makes editing easy.
Well, when you're doing 8K, that is, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, 8K is overkill, man. You really don't need to shoot an 8K.
Let's see what our battery power is. This is an old ENL E18 EL18 A battery, and we're at 27%. For I don't know why it does that. It will not go above 49%. The B version that I have, I can charge to 98%. Oh well. So yeah, this thing's kind of fun to play with.
Yeah, I haven't really explored the menus yet, but I really like what they did with that. They changed the style of the menus, and it looks really nice. Just the they tweaked it a little bit with the colors and the.
Yeah. All right.
So my next lens is a 105 MC, Chuck. I'm gonna get that lens, and I'm probably gonna sell my 51.8 because I have the 1.2 now. I just don't see a point in holding on to the 1.8. That looks great.
Yeah, this is why I got the cage for it. I don't think I'm gonna leave the cage on it all the time, but right now it gives you the ability to put all these peripherals on there, you know. So
yeah, the cage is nice.
Shut it down here. I've
got
the 24 to 70 G on here right now with the FTZ.
Nice. Yeah, I love that lens. I'm keeping that lens.
Yeah, let me set it over here. Oh, all right. We bore everybody to death. Sorry
what
about
do you think,
that.
Chuck? Should I sell my 1.8 Z?
Which one? The 50?
Yeah.
If you're going to get the 1.2, absolutely.
I have the 1.2.
Oh, well.
I just bought it.
I don't know. That's up to you, man. I just have the 1.8. So I would, now this is just me. I'm not telling you what to do, but I would, if I got the 1.2, I would still keep the 1.8 only because it gives you the opportunity for multiple cameras, same focal length if you wanted to do that. And that's, probably a stupid reason to hang on to it. But then again, I hate getting rid of lenses. I don't know why. They're like babies. Hey, Tay, how you doing, man?
Yeah. The other reason why I would hang on to it is the size and the weight.
Well, true enough.
Compact.
But then again, I like a heavy lens. I know it's crazy. I know. It just, I don't know how to explain it. It just, maybe it instills confidence or something. I don't know.
Yeah, when you're traveling, it might come in handy because that 1.2 is huge. So when you're traveling, you want to pack light. And, then again, I'd probably go with the 41. I'd probably buy the 41 f2 at that point.
Yeah,
because it's
a lot of people
smaller.
love the 40 f2.
Yep.
Even though it's cheap feeling and everything else, according to them, but they love the results. They love the lens itself. Not to mention the fact that it is small and light.
Yeah, well, I figure I'm gonna get $400 for the 1.8, which is not really big money, and that lens doesn't cost that much anyway. What, $550, something like that? $600.
The 1.8, 51.8. Yeah, I think it's about almost 600.
So yeah, someone looking to buy that thing brand new, it's gonna pay about $700 with tax. $650. So yeah, about $400 sounds right.
Yep. Hey, Hank, to answer your question, when you download the video from the Ninja 5, it doesn't have any of the screen information at all on it. It's just the video file itself. What I was just doing was using the video transmitter, Hollyland video transmitter on the Z9, and the receiver is connected here to the computer. And when you do that, it shows you everything that's in the viewfinder. It doesn't show up in the video. It doesn't show up in the photos you take. It's just while you're looking at it live.
Good question, Jeffrey. With this new 51.2, man, you could do portraits one at 1.2. Seriously, that thing is sharp at 1.2. It's impressive. I know in the past 1.2 would not be as sharp, but this lens is sharp at 1.2. Yeah, you stop it down, you get the ultimate sharpness, but it's very impressive at 1.2.
Yeah, and I understand the question though. In a studio environment, you're not often are you shooting shallow depth of field portraits. You can. I think it's very creative and fun to do, but you get beat up in the forums like, oh, the noses, and that kind of stuff.
Studio, yeah, definitely. Yeah. But when you're doing environmental portraits all day.
Absolutely. Not to mention that most people don't, not most, a lot of people, especially the new, professional photographers, don't realize that depth of field changes with distance to the subject. It's not always razor thin, a subject. Your model's 50 feet away, then 1.2, everything's in focus on the model. I know it sounds crazy to have to say that, but people will argue with you over it too. Well, why do you want such shallow depth of field? Well, it depends on where your subject is to how shallow it is. So Tay, tell us about the new gear today. What'd you get?
Hey Tay, how's it going, Tay?
Don't leave us hanging here, man. Now we're all wondering. Todd, man, sorry you have to leave, brother, but thanks for showing up and hanging out with us in the chat.
Yeah, Todd.
Chad?
Good job, Todd, by the way.
Oh, so you're seeing, when you load the video file, Hank, you're seeing all the screen information in the video. I don't know. I haven't had that issue with the Ninja 5, but then again, it could be a setting in the Ninja 5 that either records it or it doesn't, maybe. I don't know. Uh-oh, a rant. Chad has a rant. You're gonna have to call in, man, to give us the rant. Where'd my number go? I'm just the greatest host in the world, aren't I? Not. All right. Yeah, Hank, I don't know, man. That's a good question. I haven't actually used the Ninja 5 for a year now to even record anything. That tells you how much video I'd been doing before the Z9. All right. So, well, we've talked about Joe. We've talked about the angry photographer. Not that those two should be mentioned in the same sentence. And here we go. All right, Charles, you there? Hang on a second. I got to do this every time. I don't know. Try it.
Hello?
There you go.
Hey, Chuck, how you doing?
Great. How you doing?
Much better now.
All right.
Punches out oxygen now. I'm a happy camper.
All right. Good to go.
Okay. So the other day, I forget, Monday, Tuesday, I guess it must have been Monday. There's a photographer named Dustin Abbott, who I respect tremendously. The man puts out some amazing work. He posts a APS-C, crop sensor buyer's guide. Okay. And let me see if I can find exactly what it was. he's listed. APS-C mirrorless buying guide. Okay.
Okay.
And he proceeds to talk about the good and bad about Sony, Fuji, and Canon. He also goes and mentions Leica, Tamron, Olympus, Sigma, Samyang, all those. Not one word, doesn't even mention the word Nikon.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you have a camera buyer's guide without even mentioning the word Nikon, even if you say it's not my choice. And it just really ticked me off.
Yeah, it still ticks me off too. The bigger Nikon, this is why I was saying, and this is why I go back to, Nikon just came out with the Z9. It's fantastic. Everybody loves it. And although some people, may not like this or that or whatever. So Nikon is back in the game, but they're not, the Z9 is not going to carry them to the finish line. So Nikon needs that next camera, the gap camera that we don't have yet, because everybody's just discounted the Z6 and Z7 too. They're done. Nobody even wants to readdress, with firmware updates or anything else, or the fact that it's fantastic video cameras and the AF isn't all that bad. So they're out. They don't even get mentioned. So they need that gap camera, the Z8 or whatever. Now I'm saying all this, just, go along with me here for a minute. Mm-hmm. They're saying get the Z8 out, get that gap camera out, something to compete with the A7 III, or A7S III, the A7 IV, the Canon R5. We need one that's in that company. Okay. We don't have one right now. Nobody will recognize the Z7 or Z6 as being those competitors. Now, you all will say, well, that's not true. Well, it is true when it comes to influencers. Okay. They wrote the Z6, Z7 off a long time ago. You guys know that from from Jump Street. Okay. So Nikon needs another camera. It's the gap camera between the flagship and everything else below it. Once they do that, Nikon will get more a favorable look from more of the influencers. So right now, again, Nikon, they're just ignoring the Z9, these sites that do that talk about the best cameras, best APS-C or crop sensor cameras for 2022 and whatever. I saw it the other day on, not the other day, about a month ago, ran across the site and they never mentioned Nikon, and they're talking about the best, cheap.
Hey, Chuck, sorry to cut you off, Chuck. I'll be right back.
All right, buddy. All right. So Nikon doesn't get a fair shake because Nikon doesn't rate. Nikon doesn't count right now in so many of these influencers' eyes. They're so enamored with Sony and they're so enamored with what Canon's done, or with their new mirrorless system. But Nikon is the bane of all. Because Nikon didn't check their block initially. So, yeah, I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you. It aggravates me as well. I actually wrote a long comment on that page asking why Nikon wasn't even mentioned. Come on. You can't tell me Nikon doesn't have a camera that fits into that category, because they had cameras on there that were just crap, too, in my opinion, but they were Sony. Sony had like 4 cameras out of the 10 that they mentioned, or 5. They had 5 cameras. I don't know how that is. So yeah, I understand what you're saying, Charles. It aggravates me as well, but Nikon aggravates me too. And everybody's going to go into, well, they can't produce anymore. And no, I'm not buying all that. Okay. I know they're a smaller company, but Nikon needs to do something to reverse all these influencers. And people say, well, just don't listen to them. Unfortunately, guys, many people do listen to them, and new shooters that are coming in are being fed that line that, probably don't look at Nikon. If you really want to get a real camera, get a Sony or a Canon, and even Fuji, Why everybody hates Nikon now, I don't know. But this started with the, right as soon as the mirrorless war began between Sony, Canon, and Nikon. All of a sudden, Nikon was hated by everybody.
Well, I don't get it. I mean, normally I don't pay attention, but when you get into the upper, the people who got over 100,000 subscribers and so forth, the bigger influencers. I mean, even Fro and Tony and Chelsea, I mean, even they mention Nikon, even if they don't promote them.
Right.
It just really grinded my gears. And I've had it. I mean, I left a paragraph on the page, but on Dustin's page, which he never responded to, but somebody else. But anyway, it just really ticked me off. You're talking about crop sensor cameras. Nikon's got the Z50 and the ZFC. Both, well, the Z50 I know is a great camera. I've got one. The ZFC, everything I've heard has been fantastic. It just seems so wrong to me,
Yeah, I agree with you. And there isn't anything that you and I are going to be able to do to change their mind. It's up to Nikon. Nikon has to do it. And let's hope that maybe, we'll see. My prediction is we're going to see a development announcement at least this year for that camera. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why Nikon just is the butt of all jokes and everything else with so many people. Well, let me back up for a second. A lot of it is, too, that you have, I don't have any problem with Sony's cameras. I think they're good cameras, okay? It's not it's not what I want, but they're good cameras. And Canon, the same thing. And Fuji, the same thing. But the Sony fanboys are just horrendous. And some of those are, they're closet fanboys for Sony. A lot of these influencers, and for whatever reason, they've got it out for Nikon. I mean, this, a year and a half ago, Nikon was going under. It was gone. It was done. That's it. Nikon's finished. Now, that didn't come from Nikon. That didn't come from anybody knowledgeable. That just came from influencers making the statement and then saying it enough, kind of like the administration right now, saying it enough until people began to believe it. Why? Why was that? I don't know. But I don't know. I guess it's tell a lie often enough and people will start to believe it. Like you said, like the current administration. Yeah.
We won't go there.
They had a couple of, figures on, the financials for Nikon, and they all decided, they looked at it and decided, well, that's it. That's the end of Nikon. They're done. They won't be around for another 6 months. Some people were saying, I mean, how ridiculous is that? So
fake news.
yeah. So, I'm kind of getting a little more thick skinned now where when I run across those folks, I don't even care. I don't want to hear it. It's just, they're showing their ignorance. They don't realize that because they've got fanboys in their audience that just continue to pat them on the back for making those statements, but they're really showing their ignorance because what they're talking about is just foolish.
I agree 100%. I mean, all I can say is I unsubscribed. And to be honest with you, I just resubscribed with Fro. He did a nice Z9, forget what was it, autofocus. He just released a video. It was half decent. I enjoyed watching it.
If all these others that seemingly hate Nikon and praise everything else would actually sit down and give all the cameras a fair shake, to include Nikon, I think they would change their tune. But they don't want to. They're just, they're just absolute fanboys. They're groupies, from the rock and roll days, the groupies that ran around and followed bands everywhere. That's what they are. And a lot of it, it's not buyer's remorse. It's just the fact that, I bought this, so nothing can be better than this. And I'm going to make sure everybody knows that. And it's a shame because there are some notable photographers that have been brainwashed into fanboys for Sony,
I tried a Sony A6000. I didn't like the feel. I did like the results, but I didn't like the feel, and I didn't like the menu system. I have a couple Canons that I'll still pull out. I enjoy shooting Canon, but my choice is Nikon. But I don't ignore or knock the other ones. Yeah. I think that's one reason I like your channel. You don't knock Nikon, or you don't knock Canon or Fuji or something. You don't knock anybody.
No, because every one of them can take a great picture at any given moment, you know, and how are you going to debate that? You know, look at the photos that have been taken with Sony and with Canon. You know, I just don't like it. I don't like the ergonomics or anything else, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to perform well. And you're right. And why bash a camera? But I'll bash the fanboys.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, it's not the camera, although Sony's probably helped promote a lot of the fanboyism. Not probably, I know they have. So, but, you know, but I still won't take away from their camera.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate you letting me get that off my chest.
No problem.
Been eating at me for a couple of days.
No problem. Yeah, it did with me too. And like I said, I've just given up on that. I don't know why I beat my head against that wall. My wife asks me that all the time. Why do you do that? You think it's going to influence anything? No. And the old answer was, but it makes me feel better. And it really doesn't. It really doesn't. So I'm just going to quit listening to them.
All right. Well, I'll let you get back to your show and everything. And thanks for doing this for everybody. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that, Charles. And look, we'll see you in the forums, or see you in the chat more, and see you over on Nikon Amateurs group too.
Sounds good. You have a good day, Chuck.
All right. You too. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
All right. Sorry about the rant, but yeah, I can go on that for days on end about what I think Nikon should do. I may be completely wrong, but I'm sticking to it though. Albert, Sony's nothing without the CZ lenses. Well, yeah, you know, but let's face it, they've done a real good job. You know, I know we all want to pound our chest about, you know, my brand actually builds everything that they use in their cameras and lenses and everything, although we know that's not true even with Nikon. But their lenses, their glass is fantastic. And I used to hear from my Canon friends up here, you know, you can't beat Canon glass. It's just so superb. And I'm not saying Canon is inferior to Nikon, but I definitely don't think that it's better than Nikon, and, you know, vice versa. So, yeah, but you know what? This has been going on for years. When I was shooting a lot, then it was, you know, Winchester or Marlin or Henry for lever guns. You know, one's definitely better than the other because I own it, that kind of stuff. Ford, Chevy, Dodge, you name it. It's gone on forever, but that is part of the fun of having a brand and using it, is being able to, you know, bash the other brands, I guess. All right. Bashing brands easier than having an intelligent conversation, which most of them aren't capable of. You're absolutely right, Mosman. You're absolutely right. Bash the fanboys. I think they must all be legs. Yeah, Paul, they are. Let's see. I'm trying to get caught up here again. GM all the way. All right. See, there you go. There you go. Ford found on road dead. Yeah. Yeah, the old Ford fix or repair daily. I remember all that. Oh, man. Yeah, Paul Goebbels. Got it. You're right. Let's see. It's profitable to promote Sony because Sony releases so many cameras, Albert. Yeah. So Dustin Abbott has stated in the past that he knows nothing about Nikon. Well, there you go. There you go. I wish you could find that quote, and it'd just be nice to just, nicely post that. Hey, understand you know nothing about Nikon, so now I understand why you never talk about it. You never talk about such a great brand or something like that. I guess you can't talk about it if you don't know anything about it. Yeah, Paul, you make a good point about Fro, and I think that's the part that really rubbed me is he is thin-skinned, and you can't. Charles was just talking about the latest video that he put out, and yeah, he has come around quite a bit, but I think it was him being so thin-skinned that once people started whipping on him for his negative discussion about Nikon and the Z bodies, that he just went on the defense and didn't want to hear anymore. Most of the people who bash Nikon are very biased, and everyone knows it. Yeah, and I guess we ourselves are biased that shoot Nikon. And Tay, I know you're Fuji man. Where'd you go? I lost you here. You were going to tell us what you got, and I lost the. There we go. So, did I miss the comment when you told us what you got, or is that what you're saying, Fuji? Nothing wrong with Fuji. I have a friend that had Nikon and he switched to Fuji for a lot of different reasons. It had nothing to do with Fuji being better. It was just at the time he wanted a small camera, travel camera, and that Fuji had the right camera for him. And you know what? Truthfully, if I was going to pick cameras for colors, I'm going to say Nikon and Fuji. I think they're both very good. Canon is good, and Sony is, we'll say good. And I know everything can be changed in post or whatever, but just out of camera, you can't argue with Fuji's color science. It's great. Ninja 5, Rode Wireless Go 2, and Rode Video might go 2. Good on you, man. That's a package there. So it's time to go full bore video production is what you're saying, right? I want to see the results, man. I love creativity. I love seeing that. So that's quite the package, man. Is the Wireless Go 2, is that the 2 transmitters, 1 receiver, or is that just the version? Because I don't know. I want that Rode Wireless, I guess it's the Go 2 maybe. I don't know, that has the 2 transmitters, 1 receiver. I want that. Let's see. Yes, I'm trying to update my YouTube channel. Well, that's a good start, man, with the equipment you have. And I'm not going to be one of those people who say, well, you can do it without all that, and you should be able to do it with what, if that's what you wanted to upgrade it, yeah, that's great. Oh, cool. So, yeah, that is neat, man. That's a fantastic product. I know there are a lot of copycats out there right now. I have 2 Rode wireless mics and Rode Goes, and I want the one with the 2 transmitters because I do so many videos. I'm a hopeless when it comes to gas, I guess. I want it if I ever need it. Let's put it that way. But yeah, I want that. Good on you. Good on you. Can't wait to see. Oh, man. Sorry, guys. My back. All right. We've been going an hour and 43 minutes. I didn't realize it was that long. So we've been all over the place. Something you can guarantee when you come to my live streams. We're not sticking to the subject. We're not sticking to the subject. We're going to talk about what everybody wants to talk about. Yeah, not to pass gas. Well, you know what? Speaking of gas in that way, there's a funny story in the book. Again, the book. I'm not going to reveal it. You guys get the book and read it. You'll come across it. It's just, again, Joe's way of explaining a topic or telling a story. Oh, you find it very, very funny though. And somewhere lighting will be discussed. Thank you very much. Yes, I'm gonna plug that somewhere in there. And of course a rant about Nikon not filling the gap. Those are guarantees. That's coming out somewhere. Something's going to bring that out. Somebody's going to pull that chain. David Stewart. Oh, hey, David, you asked a question you were talking about on eye autofocus. Well, okay. Black you, black eyes, and just go ahead and add it was low light, right? And it didn't grab the eye. I mean, I will admit I expected magic out of the Z9. And right after I got it, the next day I'm outside and it's not finding birds in brush. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine my stupidity thinking I could go to Bird AF or Animal AF and just sweep across the brush line and expect that a block's going to pop and hang onto a bird that just looks like the brush itself. I just shoot in the dark. There you go. Well, you do shoot in the dark, don't you? You do all the wonderful, Northern Lights, don't you? So anyway, I'm panning back and forth thinking, well, I know there's a bird there. Why doesn't it see it? Well, you know, sensors aren't quite there yet to equal the human eye. I know it's hard to believe, but they're just not quite there yet. And I guess what really brought me back around was I have an acquaintance here that has a Sony A1. He had actually called me to ask me about the Z9, and I told him, you know, what I felt at the moment. And I said, I'm a little apprehensive, blah, blah, blah. He goes, well, the A1 won't do that either, by the way. And I said, really? And he began to explain to me in my ignorance, you know, hey, you're asking for it to do something magic right now. And he's absolutely right. So once I started applying the camera the way it should be, I found out that, man, this is pretty amazing. I mean, how many people are looking for sparrows in brush and they're both the same color? I mean, is that really important that it won't find them for me? No. But again, you know, we all want magic. Yeah, Z9 heat seeking mode. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the FTZ, I have the FTZ1 and it works fine. Of course it should, because it's just the FTZ2 without the little heel on it. And you saw I was playing with the Z9 a minute ago. That's with the FTZ1 and the Nikon 24-70. No, that's not the G. I have the E version. Yeah. And it works fantastic on there. I'm really impressed. Let's see. Yep, you'll be prepared, Paul. Get the FTZ now. I did something similar. I bought the TC 2.0X for the Z camera long before I had a lens that I could use it on. I only have one now, which is the 100-400, which, by the way, is a fantastic lens, guys. I'll tell you that right now. I'm going to post some of this stuff before long. It is a fantastic lens. All right. I hope I caught up with everything. And Tay, I want to see, I'm going to check your channel out, man. I want to see what you do with this equipment. I think it's great that you got to pick that stuff up. Definitely will help you out. No doubt about it. Having the Ninja 5 is great. If for nothing else, a monitor, an expensive monitor, maybe, but a monitor, but having the ability to capture everything in the Ninja 5 is fantastic because the storage media is so much cheaper for that than it is right now with CF Express cards. Let's see. Yeah, man, everything's in short supply right now. David, you're right. Batteries are. All right. So, wait a minute. Matt Granger, let's see, the Canon R3, I think with the 51.2 comparison, had focus issues on a person. Z9, no issues. So everyone has issues. No camera's perfect. Yeah, you know what, Jeffrey? I'm glad you brought that up because I did watch that video and I wasn't going to start pounding on Canon. And I hate to say it, but it kind of makes you feel good. Like, whoa, okay, there's weakness in the, the other camera. Now, it could have been a lot of reasons. It could have been the lens itself. And, but anyway, but nobody's going to go on air and start pounding the R3. Now, you won't see that anywhere, because it didn't focus as good as the Z9. It could have been a lot of variables in there as to why it didn't. Not necessarily the camera couldn't. But my point is, nobody's going to pull that video up and say, look. Canon, just, the R3, the latest camera, the almost flagship camera, and it had focusing issues. No, you're not going to hear that. Nobody's going to come back and reevaluate their evaluation of the R3 either and say, well, you know what? It has issues like every other camera. No, that isn't going to happen. That's the kind of stuff that angers me. I mean, let's hide the issues with all the other brands, but man, if Nikon exhibits any form of issue, let's make a big deal about it. Like the latch on the card cover on the Z9 is hard to open. Is that really something that has to be brought up? Does it take a photo? Is the AF good? What kind of video? No, we're going to talk about the latch on the cover. And I'll agree. Yeah, it's kind of a booger bear to push down, but I don't think I'd bring that up in a video and make a big deal about it. But that's the kind of stuff Nikon gets. Canon gets a pass. Chuck. He gets a pass. Hey, buddy.
I'm back. Sorry about that.
No, don't be sorry.
Yeah, I just sold my fisheye 16.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. So it's a great lens, 16 2.8D lens.
Yeah.
So met the guy. He was very happy. So.
Well, great. Yeah. Fish has a cool lens. I almost bought one a while back, but it's just one of those lenses that's unique. You're going to use it once in a blue moon. Nice to have, I guess, but.
Yeah, Mozman. Sorry, man. The guy was like, please sell it. I'm like, because Mozman wanted to buy it, but he's like, he made me an offer I couldn't refuse. So,
oh, cool. Hey, Gustavo, thanks for being in here this long, man, and look forward to seeing you on Saturdays. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you have a great day.
Hey, what did I miss with that rant? What was the rant about?
Oh, same old. Okay. Me complaining about fanboys and, the fact that Jeffrey brought up Matt Granger did the comparison of the 51.2s, Nikon and Canon, and he used the R3 with the Canon glass. And he experienced a few issues every now and then, a little bug. The Canon didn't want to focus as quickly or whatever, It's not a big deal, but the fact is that, Nikon actually did a real good job. Now, it could have been many factors and why, but the point is that nobody's going to go back and reevaluate the R3 now and say, hey, the R3 can't focus as well as the Z9, which wouldn't be true. But you could bet if he found it going the other way in his video, some Canon person would be all over that. Look, go see Matt Granger's video. He's a Nikon guy, and the Nikon Z9 didn't focus as well as the Canon R3. Just that bias that's out there, and it just drives you crazy.
Wait, who's biased?
Everybody that's a Canon shooter influencer, and everybody that's a Sony shooter influencer. I'm not talking about the fans. I'm talking about the influencers. They would be all over that. They would do a special video to show that, you know, the Canon beat the Z9 in this in AF on Matt Granger's test of the 51.2s. You know they would.
Who cares, man? Just go out and shoot. This is not a
No,
race.
I agree with you, but you know, Charles brought it up. He was talking about it a minute ago. Somebody didn't even mention Nikon and the best APS-C cameras to get for the year. And that's just common with, you know, Nikon is just, by some, they're just absolutely hated. I don't understand how you could hate a camera brand that much. I don't hate Sony brand. I don't hate Canon brand. I hate the Sony fanboys, you know.
Hey, if Joe McNally's using Nikon, I'm all in.
Yep, good enough for me. There you go.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, Ched was ranting. I kind of heard it, but I'll have to rewatch that. So,
yeah. And you know me, that's an easy chain to pull, man. Get me going on that. The bias out there with the influencers.
Hey, man, how can you hate on Nikon, man? They got out of the box. They got probably the best colors and the best hand ergonomics.
Yeah.
I mean, and, you know, cosmetics, the equipment looks nice. I mean, I know that's not important, but
yeah.
I mean, those long lenses look, as far as like aesthetically, they look much better than the Canon's offerings, and the Sony, God, they look god awful. So,
Mr. Daniels, good to see you, Robert.
But
yeah, Paul, I know it's on Amazon, and there's what's the other book distributor or whatever, Vahagen, for Joe's book, The Real Deal?
Not too sure. I know it's on Amazon. Remember.
I can look it up here in a little bit, though. Yeah, Albert, shoot Fuji also. I like the colors in Fuji. I'm not going to lie. I really do.
David Stewart, what's up? Robert Daniels, hello. Yeah, man. I mean, Fuji's great. Fuji's great with the colors, but I mean, they don't offer a full frame offering. So, I mean, it's, you know.
Yeah. Other than skipping it and going to the medium format, or I don't know what that is. It's not true medium format, but close to it, I guess.
Man, look, you're not going to shoot sports with the medium format. You're not going to shoot, birding with medium format. And you're not going to shoot sports with an APS-C either. So I think the way to go is the full frame sensor for the speed. I mean, for just the way it performs and the depth of field. I mean, I've had the APS-C Z's and the Fujis, but they just lack that depth. Even the 56-1.2 lens that Fuji has, great lens, but it's nothing like a 51.4 or 51.2 from Nikon.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Paul Connor says, Unique Photo in Jersey is having a Sony takeover day this weekend, and they are making appointments for the updates and asking non-Sony users to not attend. That's weird. Huh. My baby there. No, baby, you're the best. Love you. Miss Courtney is my beautiful youngest daughter. She's my favorite youngest daughter.
Hello, Courtney. Is she from, does she live around you? Or
no, she's down in Kentucky.
Oh, all right. Nice.
Down in Kentucky. What's that, Robert? All I know is that as the firmware is released, cameras have gotten better. Yes. You can bet that Nikon Tech will improve the use cases of individuals with handling the camera. Yeah. You know, Nikon has changed a little bit in that the firmware updates have been very, continually coming out with firmware updates now, where before they seemed to sit back and just kind of watch things flounder until they were forced into doing it. Maybe that isn't the case, but it just seems like there are a lot more firmware updates coming out of Nikon. The one that everybody wants, the Z6 II, Z7 II, who knows? Ryan Troy cornered Mark, what's his name, from Nikon Marketing out there at WPPI. And going back, Nikon never said, I did go back and look, trying to find where Nikon said something or made reference to a big AF firmware update for the Z6 II and Z7 II, and it's nowhere to be found. So, will we get another AF firmware update for those cameras? I don't know. And I was using that as part of my discussion about seeing what's going to come next in the Nikon body. Look at the firmware updates that come out for the Z6 II, Z7 II. So that may not be the case now. They stated, back to Paul Connors here. They being Unique Camera, stated walk-ups will not be able to be serviced. Oh, okay. But what's the deal about non-Sony users asking non-Sony users to attend? Not to attend, I'm sorry. I don't know. Maybe we're just looking at it out of context of the bigger article. I don't know. Can Sony coming out with an auto composition button? Exactly. When all of them are going to do that before long. Let's see. Jeffrey's talking about if you could program a button with a specific exposure compensation value. Yeah.
So Nikon price is going up in April in Europe.
Right.
I think it's going to be up in the US too.
I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know. I don't, why is Nikon raising the prices in Europe? Is it Nikon that's raising the prices? I don't know.
People are wondering if they pre-ordered, if they'd actually pay more if the prices went up after April 1st. So I'm not sure if you lock into a price if you pre-ordered.
I don't know. They ought to ask. That's a good question to ask Grays. Email Grays. Yeah, Jeffrey, that'd be neat. There are, let's see, the Z lenses with the control ring is great. Set, for example, set a value on with the button. Okay. Yeah, I don't know how much farther. I shouldn't say farther. There are several people have found different things that they would like to be able to set up in the Z9 with the button reassignment. But that's a good point. I don't change that exposure compensation. I don't use that very often. There have been a few times that I've used it. So for me, that wouldn't be a big deal, but I can see where if you're using that quite a bit, then yeah, having a dedicated button to be able to immediately switch would be great.
I better get my Nikon 105Z then soon.
Yeah. So you want the 105 micro or macro? Is that what you? Yep. I almost bought it. I almost did. I want something for the studio coming up, but I'm holding out for that 85 1.2.
Yeah, well, by the time that thing comes out, I
know, but I'm trying to hang on to the money to be able to buy that when it comes out, rather than, I don't know. I even thought about the 85 1.8 because it's pretty reasonable. And I know a lot of people do like it. And the only reason I want the 1.2 is it has nothing to do with, I think it's going to be so much sharper, although I guess it is by, for the pixel peepers. But no, I like the 1.2 for a lot of reasons because I like doing all that weird stuff, creative photography, shallow depth of field and all those different things. So it would work in the studio. The 1.8 would probably be just as good. Well, actually, my 24-70 will probably be fine in the studio.
For those of you that are in the market for used Z glass, there's a 3 posts on Craigslist right now from a seller that I know. I bought my 51.2 from him, and I know these are his posts. He's a cool guy. He's selling a 24 1.8 for $500 and a 24-70 2.8 for $1,500. So those are the 24-70 2.8 is a good price.
Yeah.
He's the official photographer of the Scientology church.
Do what?
He's the official photographer, the seller.
Oh, okay.
The Scientology church.
Wow.
The church that was that actor?
No, I know.
Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise, yeah. I actually went to pick up that lens from that location in Hollywood. He's a cool guy, yeah.
He's a wacko.
Hey, he had that lens, man. So he actually wanted to give me a tour. So
I was talking about Tom Cruise. Is that who you went to pick it up from?
No. He's
that's who I'm talking about. He's a wacko.
My channel.
Yeah,
you're on my channel. Yeah, no, the seller.
Oh no, I'm talking about Tom Cruise. He's a wacko.
Yeah. Well.
I heard about his outburst on the movie set during COVID, and dude, you're just an actor. You really aren't as tough as you are on screen. So just chill out. Don't let that go to your head. I'm just looking at y'all, trying to catch up here again with the comments. I mean, that's what it's all about. You guys drive the train here. I'm just in the caboose waving a flag and at the kids on the side of the tracks.
I'm also in the market. If anybody wants to sell me their 15-24Z, I would entertain buying that lens at a good price. Because if I buy that lens and sell my 14-30, then I'm all in for that. Because I think for now, for me, it's the 14-24Z and then the 105Z and then maybe the 42. And that's it. I'm good for now.
Yeah, well, you got a 604, so you're happy.
Yeah, no, that lens is not going anywhere.
So I'm still jonesing over here for a long super telephoto, which I'm not going to get anytime soon.
I don't care if the Z comes out or the P comes out or the Y comes out. I'm keeping that F mount, and I'm really not going to be bothered if the Z comes out because that F mount glass is just amazing. Hey, that 100-400 is impressive.
It is. It is.
It's got some sharp image. I mean, I didn't really spend that much time with it, but the shots that I took with Mossman's lens, impressive. Walk around, perfect. Light.
Yep.
Oh man. So. Hey, Mossman, how did those shots come out? It was his first time using it, so.
Okay. You're right, Jeffrey. I need to start unloading F-mount glass because it's not gonna. It's going to continue to lose value. I know a lot of people said, "No, it won't." Yeah, it will. Yeah, it will. From here forward, it's going to continue to go down.
I can walk over to my local Best Buy right now and pick it up. They have it in stock.
The 105?
Yeah, without waiting. So
yeah.
Just gotta, I don't know how I feel about paying the taxes, but I guess I will.
Yeah. Yeah.
After, if I can find one used, I'm all over it. But you don't find any Z glasses used hardly ever. If you look at your local market, there's nothing out there.
You mean the FTZ or the F and Z mount 1.4 tele? Okay, teleconverter, and the 24 to 120. Man, that 24 to 120 sounds exciting too. I've got the old 24 to 120 F. I guess it's the second version of that in F mount. And it was a great lens, but this new 24 to 120 seems to be knocking it out of the park. Mosman there. I got some good shots. Going to post a few to Facebook group this week. All right, Moz.
Is that your Facebook group, Chuck?
No, Moz, you posting them over on Nikon Amateurs or? Just picked up the 1.4 TC from Pictureline. They had it in stock last week. Man, I hate to give my secret about Pictureline away. You may have already knew about it, but a lot of people have asked me, and I know all of a sudden a lot of people are there. It's good for Pictureline. Don't get me wrong. I think it's great. But they've treated me well for a while, and they definitely did with the Z9. Yep, the 24 to 70 f4 used.
24 to 120 is offered with the kit now, or it's going to be.
Yeah. I think it started in India. India is the one that announced it first.
Man, India's on the ball, huh? They're aggressive with their marketing.
Oh, yeah, they are. What was it? They dropped something a little bit early. A while back. Was that with the Z9? They dropped some marketing material a little bit early. Of course, we all loved it.
This one kid was demoing the 400Z on his YouTube channel. Did you see that?
No.
I think he was from India or something. I think he just bought that lens. The 400Z. And I was like, man, good job on that. You got it, huh?
Yeah. Well, what was surprising was, well, maybe not so much. When you asked about the price on the 800 last night, I think Joe's, that's an NDA thing, so I'm glad we didn't pursue that as if, what 800.
Well, he was joking, you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I'm pretty sure he knows it's coming out.
Yeah, and it's best to leave that lie because he's not going to violate his NDA, no doubt about that.
Yeah, I said it as a joke.
Unlike a pair of photographers that did and released a video before the embargo, we won't mention any names. So Paul kicked off Facebook comments about censorship and Jeff Zuckerberg's lying to Congress. He should be wearing an orange jumpsuit. I can't imagine why that would be, so bad. Oh, it's great. Well, there you go. No freedom of speech anymore. All right, Miles, man. Great. Looking forward to seeing them, buddy. Dave, you got the 24 to 120 go-to lens. Okay, great. It's a great range for walk around, 24 to 120 that covers so much.
Yeah, Grace just did a video on that, comparing it to the 24 to 70.
Yeah.
And impressive results.
Yeah. I mean, there's some compromises, but it's a stellar lens, and the compromises aren't from quality. It's just from, the way it was designed, and it's fantastic. Joe talked about SB5000 last night. B&H this morning, out of stock. Within 2 hours, checked again, and now they have some. Okay. Yeah. So my question, I hear you, Paul. But my question is, well, it may be a stupid question, but that's all right. I'm used to showing my ignorance here. Will non-Nikon speed lights work in the creative lights? Yeah, I guess it will. No, not without the controller, though. Chez not disappointed in the 24 to 120G. Yeah, I don't think it's a bad lens. The only problem I had with mine, actually, my stepson's using it right now for video. The only problem I had with the 24 to 120G is lens creep. Drove me nuts.
Yeah, that thing is bad with the creep.
Yeah. Right. I bought one of those bands that you put around it to tighten it up, and, that helped. But then again, it didn't help trying to turn the barrel for changing. Oh, shoot.
Well, glad it worked out for you, Chad. I don't want to recommend something that you're not going to like.
And again, I go back to, I've been posting a lot of photos over on Nikon Amateur group. And, most of those photos are done with the 80 to 400. I got to tell you, I wore that lens out, not literally, but I used that lens significantly. A lot of people, again, didn't like it for whatever reason, but I was extremely happy with it. It's a very convenient focal range.
Well, I mean, Paul said something interesting with the edges. Well, using that lens, it's a good all-around, traveler lens. If you're going to the zoo or something like that, and you just want one lens, to cover a lot. I don't think you're gonna be printing museum prints with using that lens. I don't know. I mean,
Moz man, put a little sand in it. That'll control the creep.
But I mean, if you look at the price, you're paying, how much is that 24G used? $400? So the great price for the 24 120G.
Oh, yeah. I don't expect it's going to, I don't expect it would bring much. And there you go, like the 80 to 400. A lot of people, because it has a stigma, a lot of people talking about, they don't like it or they don't think. I think half of them just never even shot with it, but it's not going to be worth as much because of that. It's not known as a super fantastic lens. But I'll tell you, a lot of the people that I bumped into that actually shot with that lens, they loved it too. I'm not going to tell you that it was the greatest lens since sliced bread, but as for action photography, sports and things like that, resolution on it was good enough. Not to say that it was bad. It was, or excellent, but it was good enough. And I got a lot of sharp photos with it. It's just, its rendering, the out of focus area wasn't fantastic.
If you're on a budget and you want to just get into these focal ranges, it's a good option.
Yeah. And I kind of got beat up on a forum for saying that, this is the time. If somebody was getting into photography, the first thing that I would suggest to them, not, tell them you must, but I would consider going into a DSLR, because you can get professional level DSLRs right now cheap. And you're starting out with a much better camera than most people ever started out with. And the glass for it is getting cheaper all the time. So, I mean, why start with a beginner camera if you're tired because you were playing with your phone or a point and shoot and you really want to get into photography? I'm telling you, to get started, you can get started cheap with DSLR and F-mount glass, and you're way ahead where I was when I started.
Yeah. I mean, also you have to realize that there's a reason why you pay $2,000 for a 24 to 70 Z28
Right.
because it's a lot better lens.
Yeah.
The corners, the sharpness. I mean, it's just it's fact of life. But if you want something entry level, something that's really good with on a budget, no complaints with the 80 to 400 or the 24 120.
Yeah. Go buy a D4 now. A used D4 that's still got lots of life left in it. I mean, that's a fantastic camera. It's a flagship camera, and you can get them all day long. Well, no, you can't. They are kind of hard to find, but you can get them for $2,000. Start out with a flagship camera. You can't beat that.
You know what's another bargain buy right now? A 300 f4 AFS lens. If you can find that lens, the AFS model, right? That's a bargain buy right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, for somebody that's just coming in, if you want to wait on the mirrorless to continue to mature, a lot of people would say, and I would agree. If somebody said, well, maybe you're better off investing in, Z lenses as you go along and starting out with, a mirrorless camera, and you'll be well invested in the system by the time you upgrade your camera. This is true. But for a very professional kit that costs nowhere near what you're going to pay to get into the mirrorless system with a comparable camera and lenses, you can definitely go the F mount and DSLR route right now. It just depends on what everybody wants to do.
I'm selling my stuff for bargain rates.
Yeah.
And people are taking advantage of it because they know, okay, these lenses cost a lot of money back in the day, and now I'm selling it for a fraction of what I paid. And for example, the macro 105 macro 28G lens, amazing macro lens, selling mine for $450. That's just a bargain price. Yeah,
absolutely. People are smart that are, those that want to hang on to DSLR for a while longer. They're the buys are there now. They're just fantastic opportunities. Like I said, where you may never have considered yourself ever able to have a flagship camera. Shoot, I mean, I sold my D5 for $3,500.
When was this?
Year ago.
How many clicks?
Oh, I don't remember, Hagen. I can remember my D850 because I checked that. That's low. I think that's around 30K.
You still have that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pristine. I used that in the studio when I took it to a few races and used it, but I had the D5, so the D5 got a workout. It went everywhere with me in all conditions. Still looked fantastic. It's still a great camera, but I think shutter actuations were still pretty low on it. I just can't remember what it was.
That 300 PF is a stellar lens, man.
Yep.
It's expensive, but it's a good lens. It's small.
Yeah, I mean, that 500 is definitely, look at that lens, considering, you couldn't get it for the first 2 years it was in production. But all those that have sold, look how many Z9 photos are out there that were shot with that lens. I mean, it's incredible how many of those lenses are out there now and how good it is.
Yeah. The size alone of that PF 300. I mean, that thing is smaller than a 2470.
Yeah. Will do, Chad. Will do. Eventually, I've got to let go of, most of this stuff. I'm not in a great hurry, but I also know that the longer I hang on to it, the less I'm going to get out of it,
Make a video like I did.
Yeah. No, I'm going to procrastinate. because I love them.
when you're ready,
I know.
I was thinking the same way you were, but then I said, you know what? I don't get much, especially with the Z9 and all these new Z Glass I bought. You're not getting much action.
You know, I would love to hang on to everything that I've bought. I really would, to have my own little museum, but it doesn't make sense other than just hanging on to it to hang on to it. If somebody wants to see, you know, later, whatever, that you can pull it off the shelf, blow the dust off of it and say, see, I have one of those. But really, it's not doing me any good. You know, if I want to continue to invest now in mirrorless, then I'm just going to have to start letting go of a lot of the stuff.
Yep. And plus, I realize these are not museum pieces. You know, they don't really hold their value.
No, but they all have a place in your heart. You know how that is, as dumb as it is. And I agree. And I just got to let go of it. See, I'm a camera gear hoarder, I guess. Yes, my name is Chuck, and I am a hoarder. My wife tells me all the time, what's that lens? She's picking on me. Oh, that's a such. When do you use that? When do you use that? I said, it's just once in a while. Well, when's the last time you used it? I don't know. Maybe 2 years ago. Why don't you get rid of it? She's good. She's good.
Yeah, you sell a lens, you get third of the price you paid, and then you buy the new one, and it's like, wow, you know?
Yep. Yeah, it kind of hurts you, doesn't it, to look back? You know what you paid retail for it, and you know it's time to sell it. But then again, you know, just like we were talking the other day, I think you know, we don't consider the amount of use we got out of the lens either. You know, I got my money's worth out. If I gave it away, you know, I got my money's worth out of these things. So I shouldn't complain about what how cheap I'm going to sell it for or whatever.
Yeah. Plus it's easier on the wallet when you go out and buy your Z9. You know, it's a little bit easier.
Well, yeah, that was the whole intent with the D5. I knew I couldn't hang on to that and go buy the Z9. This is before we knew the price, because I was counting on, you know, early on $6,500 up, only to find out later that, you know, or to make some claims that it would be cheaper. But anyway, I wasn't going to be able to do that, swing it, you know, spur of the moment whenever it did get announced and was released for purchase or whatever. So I knew I was going to have to get rid of my D5, and that killed me. Well, it was between the D5 and the D850. And I got to tell you, I just couldn't let the D850 go yet. I didn't want to let the D5 go, but I had slowed down on motocross and shooting, you know, any action or sports. So I thought I need to keep a high megapixel camera around just for the studio. And that doesn't mean you have to have one. So you guys can't beat me up on that. I shot a few sessions with the Z6, and yes, they're fine. And the D4, which was 16 megapixel, and they were fine. But anyway, I thought I'd opt to keep the D850, but I knew I had to get rid of the D5 and put that money in the bank. Otherwise, I wasn't going to get the Z9, and I was determined to get that camera. Crazy, I know, but Jeffrey, keep all that stuff. You have a lot in a humidity cabinet to prevent mold in the lenses and something. Yeah. Well, fortunately for me, I have a hydrometer in here. So, in the house, and why I don't have it just because I got it for that reason. I just have it around. I don't even know where it came from. And my house is so dry, it causes us issues. So that's one good thing. I have no humidity in my house, like 28%, between 28 and 35%. So all that to justify my not putting them in a cabinet, Jeffrey. But you're right. The longer I keep all these lenses, the more opportunity there is for problems to arise. That is so true.
Another good lens is a 24-1.4.
You know, I never was a big fan of wide primes. I mean, that's just me. I'm not saying they're no good. I'm too lazy, I guess. The 24-70 was just the greatest lens ever developed, I think.
Yeah, but the close-up shots you can take with the 24G,
Yeah.
really close up. Nice effect
Mm.
with the blurred background. 1.4. That's another steal right now. Retails for $2,000, and you can find one for under $900.
Yeah.
They don't move that fast like a 35 1.4, but it's actually a good buy. Good lens.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Oh, astrophotography. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Dave. You know what, folks? I just got the thump on the floor upstairs.
Good show, guys. Good show, Chuck.
I got to go do something, I guess. But yeah, hey, thanks for jumping in today, Vahagen. So
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
absolutely. You know what? Anytime I can get that radio voice on my show, that's fantastic.
Oh.
I just thought that was fun last night. That was great. What a compliment, too.
Right? Yeah, it was fun. Can't wait for next week.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, David. All right, David, hang on a second. You'll catch the tail end, are you?
Well, I figure I'll get you just before you go off.
Okay, buddy. What's going on?
Well, I was out of town for a week, so I missed a whole bunch of stuff. And a friend of mine, he has sheep, and they all have black heads, and they all have black eyes. And I was using my 24-120, and it was cloudy. So, but the autofocus was good enough. It didn't pick up the eye, but I couldn't see the eye myself without the camera. You know?
Yeah.
But anyway.
So you were pulling one of my stunts, looking for magic.
Oh yeah. And I've got to. I got to find that composite button to put it on my camera, you know?
Yeah.
So that all I got to do is take the camera out and it aims itself and focuses itself and all the rest of that other stuff and whatever. And it's nice to hear you too, Vahagen.
Hey, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Stewart. Thank you for calling in, and thank you for supporting our channels. Everyone here.
Yeah, guys, I have no idea why you guys tune in. I really don't. But I'm so happy that you do, because I have a ball, and I hope you guys do too. But it baffles me, and I'm honest here. But what can I say? And kind of like, I guess, Joe McNally last night. Well, you're the great, you're the speedlight king. Well, I don't know if I'm the king. I know how he feels, but anyway, glad you guys tune in. We always have a good time.
Well, at least he didn't call you a queen.
Yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
But anyway, I should let you two go, because if you got banging on your ceiling, you better go and resolve that problem.
Yeah, you know what that means. It means I have a task for you.
You got a honey-do list.
Yes. You've had enough fun. Now it's time to go to work. That's what that was about.
So anyway, it's nice talking to both of you. And have a great day, and I'll let you go.
All right, David. Thanks for calling in, man. Good to hear from you.
See you, David.
Yeah. Bye. Bye, Vahagen.
Bye-bye.
All right. Hey, the phone worked each time today. Hard to believe. One accomplishment. All right. All right, folks. So let's see. Saturday night coming up, we'll have. I'm hoping to have Frames in here, and hope you guys will join. Vaughan, of course, you're invited in. If you know, oh, you're busy. You're busy. Yep, I got you. I got you. And this should be a very good conversation. And you guys always make it doesn't matter what I'm up here doing. I don't, like I said, I'm not driving the train. I'm in the caboose waving at the kids along the railway. You guys are driving it. And I appreciate that. We always keep it entertaining. So Saturday with Mr. Frames, I suppose. I'll confirm that, and a reminder will go out. Next Wednesday, I don't know. I don't know yet. I'm not as organized as Vahagan. I'm trying to, and he's trying to teach me, but, I'm hard-headed. But Vahagan, next up on the list for you?
Mrs. Vanessa Joy.
And that is when?
Tuesday, 6 p.m. Pacific time.
There you go, folks. That ought to be a lot of fun. She's just a ball of energy, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. Even if she is a cannon shooter, that's okay.
I've had cannon shooters. I've had Mr. Yervant on.
Yeah, I know. But she's the one that kind of, brought that up too. I guess I'm in for it. No,
Yeah,
so that ought to be a lot of fun.
Now, I want to ask her about the R3 and stuff.
There you go.
Differences between the R3 and R5 AF. And, so looking forward to that.
Well, I'll tell you, I enjoy it, Vaughan. I love your guest lineup coming up. This month is just full of great people to talk with. So
thank you. Hey, Paul. Yeah, sure. I tried once, but it didn't go through. I have a few things to take care of this morning and this afternoon, but I'll give you a ring this evening.
All right, folks. Anybody got any last minute business? And I know everybody's already said goodbye to each other. All right, folks. That's it for today. Had a great time. Thanks for joining. Look forward to seeing everybody Saturday night. And I may have a couple of other people that may join us as guests here coming up before long. So look forward to that. Look forward to seeing you all again. No more long goodbye. Thanks. God bless you all. And we'll talk again soon. All Thanks, Vaughan, for coming by.
Thank you, Chuck. Thank you, everybody. See you guys later.
All right, folks. See you later.